Hello and welcome to the Burnt Ham Podcast.
Wait, this doesn't feel right.
What doesn't feel right?
What's going on? Much better.
Oh yeah. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Burnt Ham Podcast. Today we have some special guests. Charlie.
Hello, my name's Charlie.
And Kacper.
Hello.
And we're going to try and entertain you using our limited knowledge of the world.
Right, we're back. So I didn't bring any topics for this one, so someone else is going to have to kick us off. Take it away, Tom.
First of all, it was the football final on Sunday.
How disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great place to get to, but it was also very sad. I had high hopes.
It was a very good game, though.
Yeah.
Like, they played well.
At the end of the day, Italy probably deserved it. They played better. They dominated us.
They did have a very good game, and I was very sad that we lost, but honestly, the way England behaved, I think we deserved to
it's
lose.
despicable.
The
how we
behaviour
treated them.
was horrible.
Honestly horrible.
Like, the fights in Wembley. Did you see
the
that?
racism and
Yeah,
the
but
abuse
also beating up Italian people in Wembley.
Yeah.
That's just...
Yeah, I wanted to address the racial abuse too. I think it was Sancho, Rashford and Saka, yeah. Them three. There was even like a poster or something of Rashford, I think.
There was a mural on like a wall.
And people literally put up racial abuse against it, and it's horrible. And there's been a petition to ban racist people from football matches, and I'm fully for it. You know, get them nasty people away from our great British game.
Yeah, I think if you get caught shouting out racial slurs or tweeting racial slurs, I think you should just be banned.
But it's almost so
going to football events.
It's almost so institutionalized. It's gonna be. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot more under the covers than just people saying.
Yeah, I think it is quite ingrained in the culture of football.
Yeah, football culture has been a bit bait in that sense for absolutely forever.
For the viewers that don't know what bait means, I'm not too sure on the definition myself, but we're just saying it's a bit dodgy.
It's a bit dodgy.
Sketchy.
Yeah.
And for the American viewers that don't know what either of those weird words mean,
just go home.
Go home.
No, use Google. It's easy. Don't go home, please.
And for the Australian viewers who don't know whatever.
Oh god, but yeah, I don't know why people got so upset. It's just a game. If you enjoyed watching it, then
only a game. Why you have to be mad?
it's just a game. Yeah, but seriously, I was talking to this chap in an Indian restaurant when I went to get my curry. If for those there who are interested, it was a lamb fowl with mushroom rice and a
Four naans.
No, a peshwari naan, just the one. Because four naan's
insane.
ridiculous.
That is insane.
Anyway, back to this guy. He was saying he was clearly of, I don't know where he's from, but non-English descent. And he was literally more civil about football and England like winning. He was like, yeah, I'd like to see England win, but if they don't, then who cares, you know? Both teams have played a great game of football, and I literally don't care about football, but I think it's just kind of hard not to get caught up in all the hype for the Euros 2020 final.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Okay. The reaction of some people in the establishment, we watched it, about half of the people just left. Some guy like threw a glass into the ceiling and smashed it everywhere.
Alcohol doesn't help that fact as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've started a new job where I work on a bar now. So on Sunday night I was working, and we were only allowed to give out plastic cups. There was like no glass on the floor at all, just in case like anything kicked off during the game, which I think
someone smashes a glass on someone's head.
I think that's kind of sad that we had to do that. We had to literally prepare and make sure we didn't have any glass so people wouldn't get injured and stuff like that.
I want to come back to the racism topic. On the top, do you think that you should compel what people say, or should you let them say what they have to say and you judge them for that? Like, they can say, like, you can't be, say, fined or put in jail for hate speech is what it is, but can, like, you can see someone's obviously a racist because they're saying what they're saying, and you can judge them from that, and you let them expose themselves in a way instead of keeping all this anger inside.
No, I think if you're racist, then you should be told you're racist and have your ways changed. If everyone singled out racists and, made it apparent that it's not okay to say these things, then there'd be a lot less racism.
But what about compelled speech? Like,
what the hell's compelled speech?
Like,
sounds like an excuse for racism.
Laws in place that limit what you can say, so you'll get fines for saying them.
Well, I think there's definitely quite a grey area, but I think that
I don't really have an opinion.
People should be. I think people should be allowed to, like. Oh, it's
in the worst sense
so
possible. People should be allowed to think and.
Well, I think they should say what they need to say, and then be socially shunned from
it shouldn't be
because the problem is if it is illegal, then with the KKK, they all just went underground. Not now, not back in the day.
But it could have been your neighbour, couldn't it? And you wouldn't know.
But nowadays, the KKK is very underground because obviously it's very frowned upon. So then they just do it behind closed doors, which I think is worse because then you don't know who is part of this KKK.
And it's more dangerous because, somehow they recruit people and it just grows and you have no idea where it is, what it's doing, what it's gonna do. And I think if people can say what they can say, you can keep a track on who's in that
making
group.
Something illegal won't stop people doing it at all.
But then the problem is that there should be punishment for saying racist things, because if there was no punishment, then people can think it's absolutely fine.
The punishment would be you're shunned by society.
Having no friends.
Yeah, but then all the racist people go into their little social groups and then they circle jerk each other and reinforce their ideas, and that's even worse.
Yeah, to be fair, racist people...
That's not an opinion, that's
the
fact.
Racist people do only really choose to talk to like-minded people.
I'd rather know who the racist group is than have them come out to the pub and you've got no idea.
Can you turn your phone on silent, please? This is very unprofessional. I'm not actually angry, I'm just...
You're wearing a suit and you're being so unprofessional, Charlie.
But yeah,
It's on flight mode now.
Nice one. I think racists should get what's coming to them.
What is that, though?
A good hard kicking.
No, I don't think violence really solves it.
Good old-fashioned pummeling.
No. They just need to be re-educated and explained to in depth until they understand why it's wrong to single out a group of people based on their skin colour or whatever.
It's so easy for a child to be racist, though. I think they done an experiment with the colour of people's eyes, and I think they said, they took all the green-eyed people out of this class, or some colour. I can't remember it huge, to the detail, but they took all the green-eyed people out of the class and told all the other coloured-eyed kids, green-eyed people do this, they're monstrous, they're hurtful.
Yeah, but children are incredibly impressionable, and when you grow up, you learn a lot. That's the whole point in growing up.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're growing up with these, it's very easy for someone, and they're long-lasting effects on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you have no responsibility to. Well, you don't have the. It means that you have to take responsibility and change. So I don't think it's fair to blame your upbringing on things, because then no progress is ever made and you stay in the same sorry state.
Most people, in school, ginger people would get bullied all the time, but that's not really, in an old age group.
I guess
Don't really bully ginger people.
I guess humans have always had a kind of like some humans always have a tendency to discriminate,
Yeah.
and because it's kind of the tribalism thing, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, but
you're-
we're past that.
you're different to mine. Yeah, I know, but you know that's where we come from. You can't-
Apparently so,
it's
not
why
all
we're
of
he-
us
It's
are.
why we're here.
But
I'm
yeah,
not excusing anything. I'm playing devil's advocate.
which
in your suit.
is
Exactly.
not always the best thing to do. It makes you sound a bit racist sometimes. I'm not accusing you of being
No.
racist. But
I'm not a
Don't-
racist.
Don't worry, you haven't sounded racist. You've just given alternative points of view. Anyway, I think we're going to move on from that subject because I think that's kind of dead now. Does anyone have anything that they would like to discuss?
yup.
Mm.
Okay, so I've got to think of something now. Tom got a keyboard. Now Tom's going to learn how to play all the songs.
That was not a great thing to bring up, but yes, I have a keyboard and I'm learning to play it.
I tried learning the recorder, but I got bored, and I've realised I have no musical bone in my body.
That is just a big old excuse, I hear. I'd say,
I can't force interest.
no, if you're not interested, then don't do it. But if it's something you want to do and you're genuinely interested in it, what's to stop you to do it?
Yeah, I'm glad that I've got a keyboard now because I've always been interested and I'm enjoying it even though I've only had it for like a week now, but it's pretty fun.
Sorry. Tom made a very nice chili that he just served up, which you'll see in the thumbnail. And,
Oh yeah.
That is the product of said chili.
Pictures taken by yours
Yeah,
truly.
photographer
Over there.
Kacper.
Oh yeah.
So it's just below the
Yeah,
level of meat chili, as it was vegan. I'm joking,
Wow.
Tom. I'm
I
joking.
am very offended right now. I am a great host. I fed everyone, watered everyone.
Yeah. We are all well
Nurtured.
hydrated up over here.
If no one can tell, this is my gaff. But I do not own it. My parents do.
But it's pretty much your gaff.
So any movies anyone's been watching that they want to talk about? That's just a nice easy thing.
Falling Down.
Oh yeah.
Have you watched that?
Nope. I've seen it
Nope.
advertised to me.
It's very good. About some guy who gets stuck in a traffic jam. Later you find out he has some serious mental issues and he kind of goes on a bit of a mad one, killing people.
So basically, his mental state is falling down.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you
Because
recommend
he
it?
seems
It
like
must have
quite-
already been down though.
yeah, but it
Right.
seems kind of reasonable at the start because he can't be asked to sit in a traffic jam, so he
I
leaves.
don't think that's a reasonable excuse for killing people.
No, oh my! I mean, it's a reasonable excuse to just leave your
Annoyed,
car and
yeah.
walk off because he can't be asked.
I've watched a few movies as of late, and oh no, my mind's gone blank. Actually, no, I haven't been watching movies. I've started playing a new game. It's Halo 5 Guardians.
Oh my god.
No, it's actually pretty good. Gameplay wise, the story makes absolutely no sense, but when you look at it just from the gameplay point of view, it's pretty fun.
Halo.
I literally,
All you get from
I think
Halo and Twin Peaks, favorite topics. Oh my days!
Why Twin Peaks is better than Sopranos.
And then
I,
you just get very annoyed.
I haven't watched Sopranos, so I can't compare the two, but I strongly recommend Twin Peaks and the Halo series. Twin Peaks is from the visionary director David Lynch of such films as Mulholland Drive and Inland Empire, and it follows the story of Carl McLaughlin, or his character's called Agent Dale Cooper. He goes to investigate the murder of homecoming queen Laura Palmer, and he finds out that it goes deeper. It goes into psychosexual themes and abuse and child abuse as well. It's like really messed up, but it's a very interesting series. And then there's the film Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, where it follows the story of the previous murder, which they thought was linked to the murder of Laura Palmer. I can't remember her name, but then the detective disappears and you get moved over to the world of Twin Peaks, and you kind of follow the last days of Laura Palmer and how the build up between the murder and like things from her childhood. And then you've got the Return series, which is actually one of the best series I've ever watched.
As you can tell, only George has seen Twin Peaks.
Some French film magazine said it was the best movie of 2017 when it was released, despite it being an 18-hour limited time series. It is like a film. The way it's composed and how the story develops is not conventional to a TV show, and there's lots of interesting things that go on, and I'd strongly recommend all of them. And I just decided to talk about this for the past 2 minutes because they hate it.
If that doesn't make you want to watch it, I don't know what will.
I don't think anything will if that doesn't.
Not want to watch Twin Peaks ever. Listening to George rant about Twin Peaks for 2 minutes, my mind just went completely blank. So I'm going to open up the discussion and give a nice hypothetical question. What animal would you choose to fight against Iron Man?
What? For like the most entertainment value?
No, to
let's
win,
go right. Let's go win, and obviously you could have more. You could have like a quantity of that particular animal, because I don't think one animal could be Iron Man, unfortunately.
I know which animal could be Iron Man. The tardigrade.
What's that?
Or water bear. So basically it's this microscopic creature which can survive extreme conditions like insane heat, insane cold.
Isn't it a creature? It's not like a microorganism.
Well, it's alive.
No, we're talking. I think animals.
No, a tardigrade is like technically an animal. So I think a couple of tardigrades, if they continue to breed, could outlive Iron Man, and that counts as winning.
But hasn't he got like the heart?
Outliving is not a good enough answer, unfortunately.
All right, a million lions.
I want action here.
You want action?
Not living.
I
So
think I'd choose, obviously,
To
probably
talk into the
something
mic.
that could fly.
But Iron Man can fly.
maybe.
1,000,000 seagulls.
'Cause I don't think it's got any chance if it can't fly.
shit on hit.
Maybe a giant king cobra that spits venom.
Well, there's no such thing.
That's not real. What about?
Oh, and the tardigrades don't have a better chance.
Yes, they do actually.
Outlive it. What are you saying?
Let's go for like the angriest animal ever, a honey badger.
Honey
Just
badger,
get like
oh.
just get loads of them to like swarm Iron Man.
Maybe like billions of ants that can just climb up each
Yeah,
other.
go into the electrics
Yeah.
of the Iron Man suit and just fucking fry.
Wait,
it
can
with
Iron
the
Man
circuit.
swim?
They literally make mountain, like they climb up.
Spring the devil.
Sorry,
Oh.
they climb up themselves to get to places. I mean, Iron Man can obviously just fly pretty high, but I think they've got a chance if they catch him lacking.
I've got something. A whale, because he'd try go down in the water to fight them, and then get an electric shock and die.
I think his suit's
Innovative.
waterproof.
Is it actually?
Yeah,
Does he
I
ever
think-
swim in the films?
I don't
I
think he
think
swims.
no, he
but I
is in the
think-
water at
I
one
think
point.
he does
isn't
go in the
fixing,
water and
He's fixing something at the start of one film in the water. I can't remember which one it was. Like Mine 2. He's like in the water, and everyone's like, "Yeah."
Who
when they
cares
fix it.
anyway? They're all bad.
Who's bad, the Iron Mans or the films?
Superhero films.
Not all of them are bad. I'd say.
I mean, some of them are funny.
They've got
Yeah.
good production. That
Yeah, but
the budget involved, you just got to watch them because it's like
true.
a spectacle.
Actually,
I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't.
Guardians of the
actors aren't too
Galaxy. I actually thought that was good,
Yeah.
but that's not like a
I
proper.
like the music.
There's no one wearing like extremely tight clothing and
Pants on
flying
the
about.
outside.
Yeah, no, there's no pants on the outside, so it's not a classic superhero film. So it's like
Christian Bale's Batmans are quite good.
yeah.
The Dark Knight
Actually, yeah,
trilogy.
they are.
Yeah, I do like the Dark Knight series. That is great.
Yeah. I've just
I
made
found it
myself
really
look
boring.
really dumb now. Because Dark Knight
Heath
is really
Ledger.
good.
Yeah.
Heath
Ledger.
amazing.
So what? I don't care. If I didn't care about the
George
character,
doesn't go with the grain,
No.
okay?
you're the one that was literally being like, "Oh, I'm playing devil's advocate now." So I found those films boring, and that's that. I found them boring because I didn't care about the characters, which is very important to me. I have to care about the
You
characters to
don't
be able
care
to.
about someone's mum and dad dying.
Oh,
You
so many
psychopath.
So
That's
many
what-
people's mum and dads die. Like, why does some rich white kid like hit harder than the millions of people living in poverty? You know?
Well, that's like that.
Because they're white.
Yeah.
Well-
And they
So
don't have
that German fan who got that German kid who got £25,000, and you know, like, how that's not raised for children in Africa, really, isn't it? Like, it's because they're white and like support is. Do you know what people just don't care about? It's bad.
I don't really know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
That was very vague, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm very
Have you not
sorry.
seen that German fan crying when we beat them in football?
Oh, did they
yeah.
raise money for that?
Yeah, they raised like
For a girl
20.
crying
I think
over-
she donated it to a cause, because that would be a bit like.
Yeah, like
But-
crying over a football match.
And,
like,
like, the-
loads of middle-aged men do that like every football match.
Yeah.
I saw plenty of middle-aged men crying on Sunday.
And I hope that the money raised for this child went towards the rise in domestic abuse cases as a result of football matches, because that's something that doesn't really get mentioned, and it's pretty crazy.
It is right, even when they win.
Yeah, even when
Yeah,
even
really.
when they win.
What was the original question? Iron Man versus an
Did we
animal.
get to the-
Yeah, I'd probably go with a snake or something, or maybe a Black Widow. Not Black Widow, the superhero. I think.
Spider.
Yeah, because just one bite and
When he needs to go toilet.
yeah,
When
When
hiding
he needs to
under
go
the toilet
toilet.
seat.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good point. In Australia, they do have to check their toilets and shoes for spiders. So.
Oh my god! Have you seen like the pictures of snakes in toilets and it's grim.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that honestly
cocoon.
terrifies me.
I hate snakes.
Yeah, I'm scared of snakes as well.
I'm scared of
Spiders.
anything being in a toilet while I'm vulnerable.
That's very true.
I'm terrified of anything being anywhere near my ass, potentially trying to cause me harm.
Oh my god. Right, let's move on because I don't think we can get a definitive
Yeah,
answer out of this.
let's move
Let's
on.
pick one each.
Oh,
I've picked
Okay,
ants.
yeah.
I've picked ants.
Wow, I was gonna pick ant.
You won.
I can't remember what I said earlier. Honey badgers. I remember I said honey badgers earlier.
Based on the early
Guess I said
2000s.
whale.
I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. Sperm whale, the one that I can actually bite.
The one with actual teeth.
Yeah, the one with actual teeth, not just a hairbrush in
Is
its
that the
mouth.
only one with teeth? I did not know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
most of them
sorry.
just have like a hairbrush.
Gums.
Some,
No, they have,
some
like-
whales have teeth, some don't.
But based on the early 2000s movie Ants, I think termites are a better pick than ants. Because have you seen how scary those termites are? That
What
traumatized me as a child.
termites? Can you remember?
Termites, they're... have you seen the film Ants, the DreamWorks film?
Was it termites? I thought it was
was young.
grasshoppers, wasn't it?
No,
I was
that's
much
you're
younger.
thinking of Bugs Life.
That's what. Oh yeah. Grasshoppers are scary. Yeah. Oh, I have seen ants though.
Why the ants got to be thick though?
Oh.
No, but my actual answer would be a Black Widow because he's just not going to really notice it, is he? Unless Jarvis is like, "Careful, Tony, there's a Black Widow," and he's like, "Oh no, that's my friend. I can't kill her," and then he
It
gets
just
bitten.
Ends up being a spider.
Yeah. Can Black Widow turn into a Black Widow? No.
I think all she can do is just punch people.
I think she's very seductive and good at fighting.
I don't think being seductive is a superpower.
She hasn't got any superpowers then.
Well, actually, can I just go on a quick tangent about the Black Widow film, which I did see recently?
I haven't seen it.
Don't watch it. It was really boring, but you get
But
the back.
Scarlett Johansson, man.
But
Right, can we stop this casual misogyny, please?
But
So, the Black Widow film. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, really boring. It's got okay action, just too many quick cuts, and it's pretty uninteresting compared to something like Bloodsport, which I do recommend. That's Jean-Claude Van Damme, really good movie. But all the tension is dispelled because she dies in Endgame anyway. Spoilers for Endgame. If you haven't seen it by now, that's your own fault. Don't watch it. It's a waste of money.
You know what also you shouldn't watch? You shouldn't watch The Curse of La Llorona. That is absolutely terrible. I paid money to see that on YouTube because my mum was like, oh, it looks really good, we should watch it. Like, The Nun's bad. That's way worse. It's terrible.
Yeah, these Conjuring films you've got to take with a pinch of salt and just take
Like,
them for what they are.
The Conjuring, the actual
enjoyed some of the
Conjuring
Conjuring
films, and like Insidious, I think that's good as well. But like some of the other ones,
yeah, they're fun if you want like a scary movie where it's just jump scares. But if you want a proper atmospheric horror film, you got to look at the production company A24 to watch films like Hereditary and The Witch.
Hereditary, Jesus Christ.
oh my
That's
days,
a class movie.
that is class.
A modern, like, not, it's not in no way similar, but it's like the same sort of presence as The Exorcist was back then.
Yeah, definitely. Except The Exorcist is better. Just gonna put that out there.
You just got to imagine yourself at the time it was made.
Indeed.
Yeah, because in these times it does look a bit funny.
I
I mean, it's
I
still
don't find it funny.
well. I don't mean that, but the special effects don't really do it anymore.
If there was a
But it's
modern
still-
version, it would be.
Oh, it'd be terrifying.
I definitely think the special effects hold up because they're all practical effects, and practical effects are 10 times more useful and effective than scary CG monster, you know. Anyway,
yeah, I get that, but not like, I mean the makeup and stuff, but the atmosphere.
I think the makeup's amazing.
All right
For
then.
the time.
Yeah.
It's pretty horrifying. Anyway, Tom's been trying to say something for the past 3 minutes, so what was it?
What are you saying?
I have nothing to say. I've just been listening to you talk about horror films, but I don't watch horror films, so I literally have no input.
Never mind then.
But I was trying to
Only
suggest, does anyone else have any topics that they want to
I would
bring
like
up?
to talk about COVID restrictions being loosened
That's a good idea, yeah.
and finally raves and stuff being back. Of course I'd talk about that, but I thought it was just really unfair how it got postponed again. Then Euros came and then I was like, I think it was soon after they postponed the dates and everything for like music events again, and then the Scotland England game came up, and in Wembley there was just tons of people just
That's
jumping
true.
about, and it's like you're not allowed to go for a rave.
It's a double standard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
it
just
definitely
about to
is.
say that. I think that it's weird how they go, oh yeah, music events, nah, even though, well, I guess some sporting events are outside as well, but like massive sporting events is just fine. Like the England,
Wimbledon, yeah.
like the England final, the Wimbledon, all that stuff, like they just that was like,
Even
who cares
though-
about COVID restrictions? But with everything else, they're like, no.
Even though football caught the violence that was going on over football, like, and it was still allowed. There's no music events are not a very violent thing.
Let's think about this logically. So, at football and sports matches, what can you get loads of? You can get loads of advertising in, and with music events,
Not at
basically
all.
no.
And
advertising.
also music events, especially like electronic dance music events, it's just drugs. People do drugs in them.
People
Government.
do drugs at football. Let's be
Oh yeah,
honest.
people. The amount of bag, which means
I did,
cocaine,
I did see
sniffed
a
over the
few-
Euros must have been insane.
I did see a few people that looked like they'd done cocaine on Sunday night, to be honest. Like, they came out the toilets and they were like,
Oh yeah,
I've literally heard a few people doing cocaine in the toilets on
I've
Sundays.
seen people do it on the Scotland-England game. I saw someone just outside of Weatherspoons doing bumps of cocaine.
We do not condone the use of
No, we
cocaine
don't.
or any other drugs, just putting it out there. But yeah, the reason why this is all allowed and the government put this forward is because it stimulates the economy more. And we have a Conservative government at the moment, and their main focus is to grow the economy, and at any expense, to be honest. They will quite happily take people out of jobs through austerity, just in the interest of helping their buddies over at the banks and the big advertising companies. And it's just basically corruption. And
Yeah.
I think also it's because it's quite a patriotic thing, you know, watching football, supporting your country and that.
they mask it up, by saying that, but
It's an easy excuse, isn't it?
yeah.
On the topic of drugs, I'd like to talk about the possibility of legalization. Does anyone have any thoughts?
I wouldn't say legalization. I'd say decriminalization. My standpoint's changed on this. So
What's the difference?
decriminalization, if you get caught with a substance, you don't get sentenced to prison or fined or whatever. I don't know what happens when you get caught with possession, but
They just take it off you or something.
I think they take it off you and maybe give you a compulsory course for the safety and maybe potential damage of drugs. I think that'd be much more effective.
The only
Rehabilitation
problem that
over
wouldn't
punishment.
solve though is
People are still gonna get them.
no, it's not that. It's the way like illegal gangs and stuff will still be able to make
Yeah.
money off it. That's like the big problem.
And
Like
it's-
elite
And that
underground
money gets-
organizations.
That money is also spent on trafficking and.
Well, the only
worse
reason
stuff.
they're
And
able to make
weapons and
money
that.
on it is because people are still buying the drugs. I think if
Yeah.
you educate people and try and reduce the amount that people do want to take the drugs, then that will
Yeah,
solve
it will
a lot of
reduce
the
it, but-
problems.
I think people will want to take.
yeah, people
drugs
want to
at
take
any
drugs
era,
all the
always.
time. And if it's just not illegally supplied, then you can't illegally get
Yeah.
rich off it.
Because I'd rather someone. I've said this to you before. I'd rather someone who's a heroin addict get clean maintenance doses.
Yeah, proper nice heroin.
Yeah, like
No, but rather
Hey.
than some dodgy heroin off a dealer and that's money going to him.
I think it's
I'd rather
in
people be safer than
And you can, like,
take as
you-
much risks,
you
but
can
there's still huge risks
try and help
taking
them out,
heroin
couldn't you?
anyway.
I think it's in
Yeah, I'm not condoning
Yeah.
any use.
I think it's
I'd
in
rather-
Sweden or Denmark. It's in some Scandinavian country. You're not allowed to buy it, but they have literally like rooms. You go in there, it's like a sterile room. You have loads of sterile needles and stuff, all the equipment you need. So you're not just like putting
In a
And
public
the-
toilet or something.
in a public
yeah.
toilet a needle that you've used like 4 times already,
Yeah,
or
I guess
or
that's to
sharing
try and
needles and that.
reduce AIDS and things like that. But I have heard in a Scandinavian country, I can't remember which one it is, that some. Are we okay, George? Yeah, okay. That some heroin addicts can get offered as treatment, are given heroin
Yeah.
as when they're trying to, because if you just quit cold turkey, like that's almost
It's pretty
impossible.
impossible, isn't it?
with
Yeah.
something
Watch
like
Train
that.
Spotting.
Yeah, do watch
So-
Train Spotting.
So they
It's very
actually
good.
give the patients a reduced
Lower and
amount
lower,
of heroin. Yeah, like that's to try and help them to get off it, which I think is a good idea in my opinion.
And yeah, if you take away the criminal element out of taking drugs, like, you know, you get a lot of rebellious teens who take drugs because it's, you know, they want to be rebellious against their parents, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you take away that against authority aspect.
and in a lot of cases where certain drugs have been legalized, drug usage has reduced dramatically. I don't know the exact statistics and examples, but I've seen things where the usage has gone down. However,
Yeah.
most of the drug usage, like the drugs used, are still from black market sources rather than
Yeah.
dispensaries or whatever, you know. So
It's a good start though.
Yeah.
And I heard I can't remember where. It might have been in Canada. I can't remember. But they legalized marijuana and the use of opiates to treat depression went down. And that's quite positive.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause
Like they're much
opiates
more
aren't
dangerous than
opiates aren't good.
yeah.
I think people associate drugs and they think weed is the same as every other drug. Do you know
Drugs
what I
is a
mean?
very vague term. Like
Yeah.
you have like Xanax,
Like
so put
someone-
you to sleep, or like amphetamine.
People like the media
Yes.
will say, "Oh, for people's stoned on marijuana, robbed shop and beat someone up. Like, no one's doing that.
Well, usually, to be honest, they don't say what drug. They just go, "Oh, this person high on drugs did this," but they don't usually say what.
Yeah.
And
that makes a big difference.
Because they just want to use this broad term of drugs equals bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are dangers with any drug, and I wouldn't suggest the use of any without consulting a doctor, you know. But don't always trust doctors, because they can do things wrong, and they're not perfect. They're human, so there will always be error.
If you
Google it instead.
And there's nothing. I wouldn't say there's a lot wrong with trying. Like, you want to experiment. People understand that. Like, you're in your young age and you're getting out there a bit, but just make sure you're with people you trust and you're in a good environment. You're in a good mood.
Yeah, I'd say be cautious about suggesting to try things, because, I mean,
I'm saying don't try, but I get that you want to try stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it safely and research what you're doing. But I don't think anyone should need drugs. I think there's much better ways of outletting emotions than, say, smoking weed all the time or whatever, you know.
True.
I don't really want to stay on this topic too much longer, because I've talked about this so much and I cannot be asked.
I think we're gonna take a little bit of a break now, so let's do that.
Let's go!
I do need a piss.
Yeah, I do.
And we're back from a little break where we got more coffee, more cake bars, and more vegan
snacks.
chocolate. And to kick us off in this half or segment, let's talk about scary stories to tell in the dark, ghost stories. And I'd like to kick us off, if that's all right. So,
should I play some mysterious music as you're doing?
Yeah, sing into the mic. So, about good 10:15 at night, at the cinema in which I work.
What's his name?
Harold, the ghost. So there's allegedly a projectionist who died at the cinema and never left work and still roams the halls, you know. And me and my supervisor were the only two people in the building. There was no draft or anything, and we were in something called the bin room, which is at the end of a corridor here, and the corridor leads down, and there's two double doors. And we were sorting out the bin, and he went out the bin room, turned to go towards the double doors to go back up to the screen. He saw, and I heard, the door open and close, just like a dum dum dum, you know. And this is where I started to believe in ghosts, because there's no logical explanation for the door opening and closing.
Air pressure.
Oh yeah, the air pressure, which we didn't notice.
It's not a spaceship, is it? It's a cinema.
That turns the handle and then closes.
But no, it's inexplicable, because if it was a change in air pressure, then surely it would have just pushed the door slightly and then it would just go. But this was like a good door open and wobble. It came back, and the force of the door closing bounced back off, and it hit it again a few times, and
there was a lot of pressure on that.
No.
I wish.
Was that the sound of the door?
No, that was the sound of me sighing, because I think you tried to make a joke about pressure, but I'm not really sure. Cringe.
I'm in the same boat as you, George. I haven't had any supernatural experiences myself, so I don't believe in it. I wish. I believe that, you know, something weird is out there.
Believe in spirit.
Yeah, I don't. I've never experienced anything, so I can't validate what I believe. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I don't want to believe it because I have no evidence
Yeah.
that it exists, but I also can't say it
Rule it
doesn't
out.
exist
Yeah.
because I have no evidence
I'd
that
say
it
I
doesn't
believe
exist either.
spirits exist, but I don't really believe that they're as massive
Physical,
pranksters
yeah.
as they are in horror films.
Although, thinking about it, if you were a ghost, wouldn't you just troll
I take
people,
so much
wouldn't you?
advantage of that.
And that's exactly what we think about Harold. We think because
Just having a laugh.
he's stuck at the cinema at work. And what do you do when you're at work with your friends and you got nothing to do? You just joke around and do fun things.
You can watch lots of films if you're stuck in a cinema. That's pretty sick.
My dad
Yeah, it's a
had
good
an
place.
experience, not like seeing stuff,
Yeah, go for it.
but he was walking his dog. I can't remember where he lived, but there's this like eerie, not really a castle, but I don't know what a small castle would like. No, not like a weird place, a weird abandoned
The stone structure.
old- yeah, and he threw a stick and it went like near the wall of the stone structure, and his dog wouldn't go and get it. It didn't want any part of that shit. And then my dad obviously went and got it. He wasn't expecting anything. And apparently as he was getting it, all the hairs on the back of his neck just pricked up. And like, that's pretty weird. Like, that's like, you know, your body telling you something's not right here.
Because it is strange how animals seem to like know when stuff's gonna happen. Like I think it's like birds will leave an
Tsunami.
area if like a tsunami's coming
That's
and
exactly
stuff
what I
like
was gonna
that.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like animals have like
And
a
elephants
hive
want to go
mind,
to
like
the high
they,
grounds and that, yeah.
Like they
Talking
they
about-
seem to know stuff
They-
before.
They've got a different perspective,
Yeah.
don't they, to it?
Talking about animals sensing it, either my house is severely haunted or my dog is just delusional, because he will stare into the garden like after like night time and he will just bark away at it and there's nothing there like ever.
Maybe
but
there's
then
some...
there could be like a mouse or something that you might
but not
be
even
able to
just in the
see.
garden. He'll just run into the corridor, start barking, and just walk off.
Maybe there's some ghosts in your garden, like, looking at him, putting their
To
middle
be
finger
fair,
up, like,
I buried my hamster in my garden.
Just mugging your dog off.
and you're like, what are you barking at, Scrappy? And the ghost like, wait,
The ghost is just like
you're pranked. And the dog's like, stop bugging me off.
But yeah, there's definitely other things out there that we don't understand. But that goes against everything I've learned in physics. So what am I meant to do? I'm not religious, so, but I am. What's the opposite of skeptic? Open to the idea of the supernatural, but just not demons, because that's kind of terrifying. If I'm honest,
Yeah,
if I got
that's-
possessed, then I'd be a bit annoyed.
You wouldn't know.
I don't know. I've never been possessed, so I don't know whether I'd know.
that would definitely be an inconvenience.
What's your...
Yes, especially if I'd work.
On a similar thing to ghosts, aliens.
I don't really care.
No,
I
but
believe that there's a possibility that there could be aliens, but I think the chances of us ever seeing or meeting aliens is very unlikely, just because
yeah.
they'll be really far away.
I'd say
Really?
it's more likely that we live in a simulation than there to be aliens.
The only thing that I think about aliens is when we're discovering new materials and that in space, what do we do to discover it? We compare it to stuff we have already on Earth, and it's built a bit differently, so we call it something else. What is it if it's for something just... So this is a bit of a theory, obviously, but it's just so stupendously different to what we know, and we can't compare it to anything we have on Earth. There's just no way of knowing it's there.
Because when we kind of look for like hydrogen, oxygen, and all that,
Yeah,
like stuff we use, but they
we
might
compare
just be
stuff, don't we?
loving
have.
some other
Using
elements.
known wavelengths.
Yeah,
Well, it's like we can see in the visual light spectrum, but like other animals see in like ultraviolet light and stuff like that. So we never see ultraviolet light unless we use like special cameras and stuff. So there's a whole world that we don't see because we're only picking up visual light. So are you talking about that kind of thing, but with matter?
yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Well, like I think it's about 75% of the mass of the universe is unaccounted for because
they call it dark energy,
dark energy or dark matter, and
that's crazy.
yeah, there should be a lot more measurable mass, but there's
Can't we
not.
only measure like 5%? Like I think like isn't 75% dark energy and 20% dark matter? It's like
I wouldn't be surprised, but
So it's only like 5% we can actually measure.
like we actually can account for.
but as technology progresses,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to work it out. Because
We already know light goes around it.
Do we?
I didn't know
saw
that.
it on a
I
video.
but yeah, astrophysics is pretty darn cool.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna go study at a university.
Is it an astrophysics course or just
It's physics with astrophysics, so just some extra modules on it.
specialization
Yeah.
sort of thing?
But I expect I'll go into like particle physics or something after. But let's not talk about where I'm going with my education. Let's talk about our next topic.
RPGs versus first-person shooters.
Say your case before I say mine.
FPSs is a lot more satisfying and fun when you get a good play rather than grinding for hours for this one item and then it's okay.
I personally never get invested enough in
No,
to
neither.
play RPGs because I do enjoy the outside.
I think a first-person shooter is just easier to just play for like an hour and then turn it off and like maybe do that once a week. But I feel like RPGs you have to put so much more time into. But I don't really know because I haven't played a huge amount of RPGs myself, but I do enjoy it. First-person shooters just because I like being better than other people. I like just honing my skills and wrecking those noobs.
Now,
Now for the opposite.
I am a much bigger fan of RPGs. I enjoy how wholesome they like. There's just so much more creative than first-person shooters. I mean, you want to craft potions, you can do that. You want to run around with a giant warhammer and smash people's heads in, you can do that. If you want to, be magic and cast illusion, that's like Skyrim. Or you can just pick whatever character you want to be, play different roles within that game, and it's so satisfying when you're this level 1 noob and then you 2 days later you're level 20, you're defeating enemies and getting better items than you once had. I find it you have to be much more patient with it. Yeah, and I do sometimes it can be a bit boring when you're just trying for the same thing. It's not as instantly gratifying as first-person shooters. But I'd say in the long run, RPGs are much more satisfying with the finished product.
You saying RPGs are better games, but I don't play games enough to really experience how good it can be. I kind of just want to
the design for them and
the design,
molding different characters and fitting it all together like a jigsaw in this made-believe universe.
So the reason I prefer shooters is I understand the appeal in having like all these quests you got to do and you get a great reward at the end, but I play games generally to put myself in like a war position, like being a soldier. I would never want to be a soldier in real life, but I get a taste of it through playing a game because I'm put in the position of, say, a super soldier, and I like making tactics and maybe doing some damage, baiting an enemy round a corner and then running round and flanking them. I much prefer to do that rather than being in this grand world where you can go off and do anything you want, but I just I'm not particularly creative when it comes to imagination, so I definitely side with FPSs.
I think
this is kind of like maths versus English. Like maths, there's a right answer. With first person shooters, you just do an objective and you're either better than the other person or you're not. You either get it right or wrong, and then
Nah, but he was
then
just lucky,
RPG
wasn't he?
and then RPGs is kind of like English, where you can be way more creative, but there is no right answer.
But at the same time, you got to complete the quests. You can just choose to do it any way you can. That's kind of like
You
maths.
can be creative with some
in
FPS
maths, you
games.
can do it with whatever technique you want, but as long as you get the right answer. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can go at a quest.
No, because then the teacher says the working out isn't the way she taught
exactly.
you, and then you get. But you can. Some FPS games are more creative than others. Like Siege, you can just smash a wall down, and then kind of run.
Yeah, but it's just.
But then Siege is also way too sway, and it's so annoying.
First-person shooters annoy me because on the online, like, you just get so many kids who just shout abuse down.
That's why I just play campaigns. I don't like playing multiplayer.
That's why I mute everyone every time. I just mute everyone when I'm playing games.
The only way I'd go ahead and play a multiplayer game is if I had a team of people and I was in a party. You know, I wouldn't want to do it with random people because then there's no coordination. You can't make tactics, then be like, right, let's go. And
Well, can I interest you in the great game of Deep Rock Galactic, where basically no one people don't really talk to each other, because especially on the EU server, because there's loads of different languages, but the game is designed so you can ping lots of different stuff to basically tell each other what to do without actually being like, yo, can you do this? Which is why I really like Deep Rock Galactic, because you can just chill and have great teamwork.
But yeah, putting yourself in this sort of position is why I want to go and do paintballing, but you guys didn't seem too interested when I was mentioning.
I want to do paintballing.
Yeah,
Well, why is there all of a sudden a great interest in this?
Well, you brung it up
I
before, and I said I was interested in paintballing.
Yeah, I thought I wouldn't have been not interested in.
Yeah, I'll happily go paint. The only bad thing about paintballing is some people who think like, you know when you're joining the army but you're not actually in the army, you're just training, but people think they're like already
Some
won
commando,
World War II.
They think they're a commando
Yeah.
just because they're at paintballing.
I know.
It's like
it's, to be fair,
a
it's
joke,
quite
mate.
funny.
It's just a laugh.
I don't know, it's pretty fun to just like,
Strategize.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
but
get
at
that,
the same
but
time, like,
it's not that deep.
it's not a life.
No, don't scream at people if they don't go off to the dead zone when you hit them. Understand that they're just getting the most for their money, which is fair enough. I'd probably do the same when I next go paintballing.
I'll just be covered.
Kacper would definitely run down the middle.
Everyone.
No, like, or we'd be like, yeah, we're gonna do this and do that.
I
Kacper
would,
just runs off.
I would, and I have.
I am the best at paintballing. Let's run as fast as I can and win.
To be fair, when I used to play multiplayer COD, that's all I did.
Same.
And I was pretty good, but
I just have
not
a
the best
shotgun.
strategy.
I relied on having a one-shot kill shotgun and just meeting people in corners and that.
and they're fucked.
Exactly.
Right, let's move on from our FPS strategies.
Reading versus watching.
Oh yeah, baby.
I love watching stuff. I find it a lot more stimulating.
I when I'm trying to learn something, I will learn a lot more from reading.
I'll agree with you on that, because if I'm watching something and it's not particularly interesting, I just won't listen.
But when you're focused, when your head's in a book, you can just explore lots of ideas with yourself. But films, you can sort of do the same, but it's more trying to deconstruct
It's more an analysis.
trying to deconstruct what the writer, director, the cinematographer, etc., the team's trying to get across.
Where books are more, you can think of obviously it gives you details about what's going on and what they look like, but it's up to you to come up with what's happening, what they look like. You've got to be quite creative to really enjoy a book, I'd say.
Definitely. I definitely prefer non-fiction to fiction, but I think that might change as I explore more fiction, because I've recently bought Dracula, Bram Stoker, and I'm really looking forward to watching
Have
it.
you watched the
Read
film?
it. I have watched the Francis Ford
film's
Coppola, Bram
sick.
Stoker's Dracula. It's Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. I don't know why they had to put Bram Stoker in the title. It's a bit artsy.
Bought the
fartsy.
book A Clockwork Orange the other day.
Oh yeah, I've seen the
And-
film, but
I've seen the film. That's a pretty good film.
that's my third top out of my top 5 films. That's the third best, I'd say.
It's pretty, like the topic is trying to address is free will, isn't it? And it's pretty, like, grey. I'd say, like, it's like, should you be able to choose if you can be violent or not?
It's a very
It's like what?
it's a very balanced discussion, I'd say.
Yeah, like there's a lot of pros and cons, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the book, so I don't have that point of reference. But the film really portrayed the ideas strongly, and the themes were very clear when you just paid attention.
And I don't know the guy's name, Adam something, who plays Alex, but he's an amazing actor.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I
didn't realise he was meant to be 16.
yeah, he does look about 27, but yeah,
Droogs.
I'd say the best thing about the film is the use of lighting and mise en scene. So you've got like striking red and blues.
When he's chasing that woman
Can I
around.
finish my point, please?
Oh, I thought you did. Sorry.
But yeah, there's a particular point in the film where you've got the reductionist and no free will guy with one hand on the shoulder, and then the doctor who's trying to help, the priest who's trying to help him, who understands that Alex can make some choices for himself with his hand on the shoulder, and he's like centre shot, and he sat there. I was like, right, this is like a turning point in the film. This is amazing.
That's why I really like the Dracula film, like some of the cinematography and that.
Yeah, it's
like when the
incredibly made.
guy who plays Dracula,
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, it shoots to his like eyes, and then it shoots to Keanu Reeves in a train, and the sky's like all red, and you can see his eyes like in the sky.
Yeah.
It's just
And that was all done through composited shots.
yeah, it's a really old film.
Every single effect is practical, except for one. I think it's the blue fire where he's first going to Dracula's castle. But yeah, Gary Oldman is incredible in that movie.
Oh, he's
But
so
Keanu
good.
Reeves is so bad. He's literally unfazed by everything and so cardboard. But it's amusing.
It's still a good film, but Keanu Reeves just doesn't do it.
Did anyone kill his dog in it?
No, that's why he didn't care about anything.
John Wick's pretty fun. If you want just pure action film, I recommend.
Yeah, if you want just entertainment value, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and good set pieces. The only gripe I have with John Wick actually is, since it is for gratuitous action, what's the point in having the love interest that dies and the dog that, like, it's just a waste of time, because
Just get on with the
yeah,
fighting.
that's what people go to see the films for.
A good film I've seen like that yesterday is Atomic Blonde.
Was that
Have
on
you seen
TV?
that? Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Oh,
but
did you
I
not?
literally
It's
just
good.
Turned on the TV and saw this blonde girl
Charlie Theron.
fighting with this guy, and it was proper like
Yeah.
type of action.
It's
movie.
based in East Germany as well.
What,
like
in the time of the
Yeah, like Berlin Wall and that.
Well, like USSR occupied
Yeah.
Germany. Yeah.
And they're trying to get this guy over the wall, and I won't say
she just
how that went.
beats everyone up.
Yeah, they pretty much just have loads of fights and shootings and stuff.
Tom, you haven't said anything for a while. Do you want to
What are you saying?
I haven't seen like any of these films that you're talking about.
You know what film you have seen though? Tron Legacy. Let's talk about Tron again.
Let's not. Let's move on.
No.
Let's talk about why energy drinks are bad, because they are. End of story.
And a more general statement: the sports and fitness industry is a total scam. Energy drinks are advertised to make you perform better. They're like, get this energy
You mean
drink because Marcus Rashford uses
The
it.
isotonic ones as well.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and it's literally the most ridiculous stuff. Like,
You can actually placebo your brain with them.
I'm sure, but it's probably best just to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you actually do perform better, but you don't
But
have
it's
to drink them.
placebo.
Like, can I go on a little tangent
Go
about a
for
study?
it.
They made this guy do this cycling endurance thing, and he was just drinking water, and they measured his performance during that, and then they made him, a few days later to recover, they made him do it with an isotonic where he drinks it, and he performed a bit better with it, and not drastically, but a bit better with the isotonic drink. But then a few days after that, they made him do it where he puts the isotonic drink in his mouth, swirls it around and spits it out, and he performed the same as when he drank it, because his brain was like, oh, I'm getting some more energy in my body, so I'm gonna. So you don't actually.
So he didn't actually drink it. He just put it in his mouth, so his brain thought he was drinking it.
Yeah. And I thought that was quite interesting,
That
because you
is
don't
pretty
actually
weird.
need it in your body. Your brain just needs to think you have the energy. So you could probably do it
Yeah, you
without
just
even drinking.
Think you need it.
Yeah, because your brain basically doesn't want you to expend any energy at all. It
So-
doesn't need to.
By the same merit, if you don't think, if you know that
That's spooky.
it's just the wind. If you know that these energy drinks don't do much for you, then you don't need to buy them, so you won't perform better if you do have them. So I just think they're a total scam, because you get charged like much more than water
Yeah.
for what? For
Poison.
yeah, it's full of sugar.
Oh, it's just sugar and caffeine. That's
To
what
be honest,
energy
I
drinks
think-
are, and they're just marketed for like extreme sports. Like, oh, drink this Monster before you do some extreme thing, and you'll just have insane reactions, and you'll just become superhuman. That's how it's marketed, and it's just basically your brain is just like, whoa, caffeine and sugar. And then you just crash after a while. So then you're like, oh, should I keep this buzz and just have another one? It's literally just drugs.
I think the need for caffeine is a lot overrated. You don't really need to have 15 coffees a day because you work in an office.
Yeah, but coffee tastes nice.
I don't like it
Addiction.
personally, and when I
Only
have
like
to
it
wake
black.
up in the morning, I'll just wash my face with cold water and I'm good.
Yeah, a cold shower and a jog
Yeah.
could supplement for a coffee quite easy.
You really don't need caffeine to function at work.
It's actually quite good for you though, like 2 cups a day, I think.
Yeah, but then it just escalates, and it like
You get a tolerance.
yeah, exactly. And have you seen regular coffee drinkers without their coffee? It's like they're on a fat come down.
You
your
saw how I
parents or
was
something.
earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, I need another dose.
Yeah. I've tried to not regularly have coffee, so I'm not reliant on it all the time. So I'll just have one occasionally. I do think it's nice, but I try not to have it all the time. Cause I
Some
know you
people,
can.
sorry, do you wanna?
No.
Some people are with energy drinks and coffee. Some people get addicted to them, and I've never felt the addictive. I've never been addicted to it. Do you know what I mean? Where some people literally rely on them. I guess it's because
once
I've
you
never
get
had
into
to
a
have
routine, if you go, every single morning I'm gonna have this amount of coffee, and then if you try and then don't have your coffee, then your brain's like, oh, but you should have a coffee at this time, and then
so it's like smoking.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess so, yeah. But nicotine is very addictive. So
Yeah, nicotine is very addictive.
I'd like to move on to the fitness industry as a whole. I was watching this video where it was some guy was talking about this infomercial where it was this basically shake weight. There's so much.
Oh, are you talking about shake weight?
Not shake weights themselves, but there's so
okay.
much pseudoscience in the fitness industry, and it's literally just steroided up buff guys that would never use the piece of equipment, saying, "Oh yeah, I use this every day because it's really good," and people think, "Oh well, I want to be as strong and muscly as that manly man over
They've
there."
never used it in their life.
and then they go and pay money for it, don't see results, and then search for a new thing that will give them the quick secret to getting ripped. It's like so toxic, it's horrible, and it's so easy to fall into the trap if you're not critical about it. If you're just like your everyday person, then chances are you might fall for this kind of scam. And it's
not woke like us.
Yeah,
then you might fall for it.
The whole fitness industry is just like basically a scam, and it's horrible.
Can I explain why I was so excited about the shake weight thing? Because the infomercial is pretty much, it's like this little rod and has two weights which move about a little bit, and there was just people being like,
would you like to
this is amazing. I'm getting so strong from
I've seen
this.
that.
And there was like a morning
It's ridiculous.
morning show, and they were like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, I've
Just
definitely
shaking
seen
it.
that on This Morning, and it was
Yeah.
very entertaining.
Because they're so happy as well. They're loving it, and then just like,
Working out, and you can have fun doing it. Yeah, it's
But I think a lot like that
Clickbait.
sort of equipment, it's literally like people will buy it, use it a few times, and then just give up, and then it'll just live in like some attic somewhere for ages, and it's just a waste.
Yeah, but fuck the sports industry.
I think you literally need to do about 5 minutes of hit a day, and you'd keep relatively healthy. Well, maybe like 15-20 minutes, and you'd keep relatively healthy if you don't.
Or just make sure you walk to work when you can, or
yeah, just don't drive everywhere.
yeah,
Don't get a car.
On the topic of driving,
Oh yeah.
Casper had his practical driving test today, and he passed.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
bit late to the party if I'm honest, but
I mean, I'm not the latest though. 'cause
Yeah,
some
come on,
people
Charlie,
are
catch up.
having a party.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
still about 5 miles from the party.
let's have a round of
And I've lost my
applause.
shoes.
We're white.
And that was a golf clap.
And
Oh,
George has Starbucks in that mug.
Yeah.
No,
And he's
it's
wearing
just
the dad
Nescafe.
cap as well.
Yarp. So last little thing. I think it'll be a good place to stop after doing this, but I wanted to play a little game. I wanted to play word association because I saw this on another podcast, and it might reveal something about us all. You know,
Who's gonna do it?
Some mental issues.
well, as we'll just go around, like, whoosh,
Who's
each.
gonna be the questioner?
What's the questioner?
The one who says the words.
What? No,
No.
word association is where you say a word and then you say what pops into your head first.
Oh.
Then
Do you
say
mean
what-
who
Is
started?
that like
Oh,
making
you're literally
sentences?
going round.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No.
Linking stuff.
Exactly.
You literally just say what the word the previous person said made you think of first.
Oh, so it's literally just saying random words.
Yup.
But they have a link in your mind.
Okay, I shall kick us off and we'll
Go to Tom
Which way
next.
round do we go?
anti-clockwise apparently.
That breaks all laws.
Yeah, I'm really angry that you said that actually. Right, let's kick us off.
I like RPGs, you know, first person shooters. Just
My first word is pencil.
Right.
School.
books.
Hard.
Soft.
Erectile dysfunction.
Penis.
Vagina.
Sex.
Nice.
Very nice.
£1 fish.
Very, very nice.
We just have very nice.
Charlie works
This
at
is very
Tesco.
difficult.
That's yours.
Well, £1 fish.
Oh,
You work at
right.
Tesco.
We
At the
also
fish place.
new rule. We also fail
One
if
word.
something sexual comes up, and yeah,
Oh.
it has to be one single word. I'll kick us off again. Level.
Flat.
Carpentry.
Wood.
Hard.
I knew I was baiting you then, George.
Hard.
Right.
You can have softwood as well.
Exactly. But Charlie's got to start
Erectile
this time.
dysfunction. I've
Charlie.
got to start off.
And then we're going the opposite way round.
Water.
Swimming.
River.
Stream.
Rocks.
Nature.
Grass.
Grow.
plants.
Veganism.
Yum yum.
Food.
Yum.
We just had yum.
You
I
Come
couldn't
on.
think of anything but food and yum.
Food. So you could have said tomato. All right, that was an epic fail.
Do you mean tomato?
Tomato.
So based on our words, can you infer anything?
We are
Yes.
stupid.
As Wilhelm Wundt would infer, he would say that we all think about rock hard erections constantly. Let's play another game. Let's play the
Freud would have loved that.
yeah, he would. The sentence game where we make a story.
We make a funny sentence.
So I just have to carry on your sentence.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
To make a
Is
story.
it going like this time?
Uh,
Please.
No, but you do have to
Of
talk
course.
into the mic when you're talking.
Is it going around this way this time?
Yeah, why not?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Manners. English. Tea. Crumpet. This is way too easy, guys. Come on.
This isn't sentence.
I know,
You're doing
I-
it with
Why are
yourself.
you just playing your own game, George?
Why don't you play the game?
I don't want to play the game.
Well, you have to.
Right, who's kicking us off with
Wait.
this game?
Once upon a time.
In a far, far land away.
Weird syntax, but okay.
I thought it's meant to be
Yeah,
one
which
word.
way are we
per
going?
person.
No, it's sentences.
No, it's meant to be one word.
You
Yeah.
just said.
You said once upon what?
Yeah, but I can bend the rules a bit, can't I? Right. Once.
Long.
Far.
This does not make sense. Right.
Can we do sentence?
Right. Yes,
Can we do
we're doing sentences. Right. So we'll go. The man ran away to a field. Okay, something like that. So I'm gonna kick us off, and I'm gonna go. Today.
When.
You.
Are going to see.
Oh, it's one word.
Right. That's the end of the podcast. Goodbye.
No. No. It is not the end of the podcast. We must continue. Let's try again. We can do this, everybody. I really believe in us this time.
Go on.
One
Kick
word.
us off. One word, yeah.
Giorgio.
What?
That's a name. Giorgio.
Hello.
What?
Oh my god.
Why would you kick off with a name?
Well, you could. Yeah, but you could say that
Giorgio
he,
went to the shops to buy an apple and then he stuck it up his arse. There we go.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
Giorgio.
This is the last.
exclaimed hello.
This is the last time we're going to do this. If we fail again, we must all die. The stakes are very high. Hopefully,
Oh, let me
this
just
will
start with
improve our
Giorgio.
importance. Right,
Well-
I'm going to kick us off again because I want to. The
Horse.
Trotted.
Along.
a
Road.
Next.
He saw. He.
saw
People.
Also.
A.
alien
Full stop.
What?
Then.
He.
ran
Into.
The.
Alien.
Full stop.
full stop.
Christian.
Bale.
Decided.
That
Murder.
Was.
Acceptable.
full stop.
Tesco.
Pays.
Charlie.
Nothing.
Because.
He.
Is.
Shite.
And.
Awesome.
Full stop.
Tomorrow.
Jonathan.
Will.
go
around
his
aunts and
mums.
castle
Which
is
Big.
very
big.
indeed.
Full stop. And that's the end. Congratulations, everyone. We successfully did that game.
That was the most boring shit I've ever done.
Not gonna lie, that was fucking terrible.
I regret suggesting that.
If you actually listen to that, you should probably
You should-
burn your ears off.
You should get a
You will
medal.
pass the torture stage of SAS Who Dares Wins.
You have the mental strength of Jesus.
And with that, it is time to end the podcast.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.
In a bit.